Fam, what's up? What's up? Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. Tomorrow we got college football, fam. It's here. We made it. Jackie, I see you inside the comment box. Where you been? I've been missing you. Roll Tide to Ray, to Dean, to Tracy, to Jarvis, to Chief. Everybody inside the comment box. What's up? Now, breaking news, as you know, but those of us that follow Alabama that closely, Chris Lowe out with the tweet. And yes, he is connected to Alabama. But I mean, look, trust your boy, Kyle Henderson. We've been talking that Milroe is going to be the starter for quite some time. OK, no disrespect to Chris Lowe. Jalen Milroe will start for Alabama football in Saturday's opener against Middle Tennessee State. Sources tell ESPN. Milroe has taken most of the first team reps this preseason while competing with Notre Dame transfer Tyler Buckner, Ty Simpson, and Dylan Lonergan. Not really a shocker if you've been following this fall camp quarterback battle, but it is good to kind of, get, some more traction on it as we go into the game. I want to get your take on Jalen Milroe as a quarterback starting for Alabama. You can call in 205-850-1994. What else are you going to do? I know you want to talk about the game. So when you call in today, I want to get your score prediction. And I want to get your take on Jalen Milroe getting the first shot at leading this offense. And I want to hear what you want to see from this team on the offensive side of the football, as well as on the defensive side of the football. Give me some points that we're looking at. We'll go to our first caller, and we'll start right now with the 205. No, it's a 201. Hey, good evening. I'm used to saying evening because the shows are in the night, but thanks for calling in. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from?
Hey, Kyle, this is Adam calling from Georgia. How you doing?
Adam, thank you very much for joining me today. Jalen Milroe is been named the starter. We've known that for a little bit, but what's on your mind?
Yeah, so I just wanted to comment that I have some concerns about Milroe. When I saw him playing against A&M and even Arkansas last year, he's an incredible athlete, but it seems like he's not really a pure quarterback, and he seems to have some trouble, going through his progressions on the defensive side. So I don't know. This kind of suggests to me that maybe the other two quarterbacks weren't as good as I had anticipated, because I thought Ty Simpson would get the starting nod. I'm just wondering what your thoughts are about Milroe, and if you think my concerns are valid.
Yeah, on the line with Adam calling in from Georgia regarding the overall ability of Jalen Milroe. Look, I think Jalen Milroe is going to be a very suitable quarterback for Alabama, not only tomorrow, but throughout the season. I really do. Here's why. I think that, like Coach said, he has showed some consistency in terms of staying in the pocket. And I think overall, this athleticism is freakish, right? Think about all the quarterbacks in college football. Yeah. We're in a day where you have to be able to be mobile. You have to be able to be dynamic to win at this level. And look, overall ability in terms of where Jalen Milroe is going to go. If we graded him today, who knows where he'd be, but not a lot of people were that high on Jalen Hurts. And look at him. Took the Eagles to the Super Bowl. I'm not comparing Jalen Hurts to Jalen Milroe in a sense, because every quarterback is different in that regard. But the thing that I like about Milroe, when the bullets start flying, like in week 2, who is going to be the quarterback that can actually win the game? Who is going to be the quarterback that has the athleticism, the overall talent? Athleticism aside, who is going to be that leader and be able to step up? 6'2", 235 pounds, whatever he is. Give him the opportunity. Texas is going to come with it. We heard, all this week and all leading up to next week how they're very confident and they don't feel that Jalen Milroe can be that guy. I think we give him a shot. We see what he can do and see what he can do with some of these wide receivers. And most importantly, see what he can do with some of these tight ends. I think that could be very interesting to see how Tommy Rees uses the tight ends with Jalen Milroe. What else you got, Adam?
Yeah, and that's a great answer, and I hope you're right. I'm just wondering, and my last question is, I thought they brought in Buckner probably because they were concerned about the quarterbacks, and I thought everyone was high on Ty Simpson. Where do you think both those quarterbacks fell short that ultimately led to Milroe being the starter?
I mean, that's a good question. I think that maybe Tyler Buckner getting here in the summertime maybe had a little bit to do with that, and maybe that's why Saban keeps saying. Right. Whoever starts today doesn't mean that's going to be the end starter. And then with Ty Simpson, I think he's right there. But the thing about him is he hasn't seen any true game experience in terms of like Milroe actually played in 2 games last year. So none of these quarterbacks have a lot of experience. We know that. So I think just kind of by default, you go with Jalen and you see what he can do with the first team, the first 4 or 5 series, and then you give, some other guys some opportunities. I 100% think we're going to see more quarterbacks. It would be shocking if just Jalen Milroe is the guy that runs the entire show. I don't think that will happen. But I would, from what I'm told, you're going to see 3 quarterbacks. You're going to see Simpson, you're going to see Buckner, and you're going to see clearly Milroe start the game. So, let's just hang on. I promise you, all of us, including myself, we're going to have a microscope on every single thing that the quarterback does, more than we've ever had, right? Like you're going to be like, oh, that pass was a little bit to the right. Incompletion, get him out of there. No, I think we'd let these guys settle in. It's the first game. And look, Middle Tennessee, this is the thing. This team can create turnovers. You imagine Jalen Milroe comes out and like throws an interception. People are going to be like, get him out. You need to just calm down. This is a very opportunistic defense you're playing. This is the first game of the season. Let's let these guys settle in and let them do their thing. But yeah, I do believe in Jalen Milroe straight up. I've said that for a long time, and I think that he's gonna be fine. Anything else, Adam? While we got you on the line?
No, thanks a lot for taking my call. Roll Tide.
All right, roll Tide to you. That's
take care.
Adam calling out from behind enemy lines, right? Just like Mike says inside the comment box. What's up, Mike? Hey man, look. You got the same blazer on, man. Appreciate it. Hit the like button. I'd appreciate if you guys hit that like button more. Sometimes I go through the comment box. Like, think of a like as you're supporting the channel overall. So I appreciate that. Like, I get the super chats, are greatly appreciated. But seriously, just a thumbs up. It takes 1 second. Appreciate you guys. My name is Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. Call-in line is open. Get that up on the screen for you guys. 205-850-1994 is the call-in line number. Jalen Milroe has kind of been announced as a starter. That's according to Chris Lowe of ESPN. Who is Chris Lowe of ESPN? I'm sure you guys know him. Very connected inside the Alabama program. Kind of has the hotline to Nick Saban, if you will. And this is a tweet that he released. Look at this. Oh, there we go, Mike. Out of baby. Get those nuggets in there. Jalen Milroe will be the starter at quarterback for Alabama football on Saturday's opener against Middle Tennessee State. Sources tell ESPN. Milroe has taken most of the first-team snaps this preseason while competing with Notre Dame transfer Tyler Buckner and freshman Ty Simpson and Dylan Lonergan. I think the great thing about this and the great thing about that tweet is and Anthony, he's tired of last year. He's like, please stop referring to last year on Milroe. Damn. You know what? This is very, very important. I love this comment. What's up, Anthony? Because of the fact that, Andrew's saying that I'm so blurry, man. It looks like I'm coming in clear. Because if we judged, like, think about it, and I've said this many times up to fall camp, if we judged Mac Jones on how he did before he took over the reins during the COVID season, nobody would want him to start. And that was kind of the talk. And we've talked about that before. And I think even our coaches, Smook and Sean, I think one of them said that, Bryce should have started or whatever. I disagree. Like, it was 100% going to be Mac Jones. And you look at the season that he put together that during that COVID year with that unbelievable team. So you just have to, like, last year was last year. This year is this year. And I hope that these guys have blocked out all of that noise. And I'm sure that they have. They've done a really good job. I mean, we haven't got to talk to any of the quarterbacks this entire fall camp, which is by design, clearly. I'm sure after the game, we're going to be able to talk to the quarterbacks or at least, the game-winning quarterback. Maybe not. Sometimes they haven't brought out a quarterback for quite some time, and that's just kind of how it is. But yeah, Anthony, I get it, man. In terms of, stop comparing last year to this year because it makes no difference what happened yesterday into today. Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. We'll go right to our next caller, and it's at 803. Hey, what's up? How you doing? You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with, and where you calling in from?
I'm calling from South Carolina.
About
20 minutes from Columbia.
All right, and what was your name? I missed it.
My name is Ryan.
All right, Ryan from South Carolina, man. Go ahead, shoot.
I got two questions for you. For one, with the QBs and everything, do you think Milroe is going to be a lot better than he was last year?
Yeah. So first of all, yeah, I do. I think that anytime you've had a little bit more experience, but when is that going to be? I don't know if that's going to be in week 1. That could be, by week 4. That could be against Texas. I'm not sure on the timeline, but yeah. I have seen some progression from him as well. And I've talked to people inside the program that feel that he has made good strides. Now, with that said, I think sometimes people feel that if a quarterback has the ability to run, they're not suited to be a quarterback, which is completely ludicrous, right? Like, if you can run, that's part of some quarterback's game. And I think that you just have to allow Milroe to go out and play his game. For example, if you guys watch that Johnny Football documentary, they were trying to control Johnny Manziel when he first got there, right? Cliff Kingsbury was trying to control everything that he did. And then he was just like, you know what? Just go play. And once he did that, he just flourished. So sometimes quarterbacks can kind of be micromanaged in the sense. And then there's other quarterbacks that you're just like, man, go out, run the RPO, do your thing. But yeah, I think 100% he's going to be better than last year. Now, are the receivers going to be better than last year? I'm curious to see if the receiver play. But what else you got?
No, that's what I was getting at is, where he sees it and pressure comes or something and he tries to run, if they're running an all blitz or something, he kind of, I don't know if he's scared and then he just runs or, it's just last year was not a good year, I guess you would per se with him. I thought he did well. I really did. And then my other one is the receiving core for Alabama.
I think when you look to the receiving core, hold on, Ryan, let me get to this. Bama boy inside the comment box. I think by default, what I mean by that is he's the only quarterback that makes sense to come back to start. And he clearly won that competition. Otherwise, they wouldn't be starting him to begin with. Coach Saban's job isn't to play the favorites. It is to play the best person for the job. And for right now, going into this game, it is Jalen Milroe 100%. And I stand by that. So it's not by default. It's he is the guy that is currently the best quarterback. Otherwise, it's on Nick Saban if he's not playing the best player. Regarding the wide receivers, and we're on the line with Ryan calling in from South Carolina. The wide receivers, yes, we all anticipate for Malik Benson to be that guy. To really come back to bring that ride-out mentality to Alabama. I don't necessarily think there was any ride-outs last year. I think Jermaine Burton, after watching the Sugar Bowl a couple times on film when we didn't have nothing else to do, he did play a little bit better. So I think he's one of the players that everybody has another microscope on because Alabama fans necessarily haven't kind of, taken him in just yet because they want to see more production from him. And rightfully so. I mean, you're accustomed to seeing first-round draft picks at Alabama, and then you see this big step backwards. So, yeah, the wide receivers, should be led by Malik Benson, Jermaine Burton, and then you got a group of sophomores, Emmanuel Henderson, Kobe Prentice, Kendrick Law, Isaiah Bond, that I think should, stand out and are clearly ready to perform at this level. Anything else, Ryan?
No, sir. I appreciate your time.
All right, man. Take it easy. All right, Ryan calling in from South Carolina with 803. We got a 479 and a 478 inside the comment box. We'll just keep rolling with it. 479, you're up next. Let's do it. Hey, good afternoon. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with and where are you calling in from?
Hey, what's up, Kyle? This is Juwan from Arkansas.
Hey, Juwan, I appreciate you calling in, man. Speak up just a little bit.
I think Jalen Milroe being the starting quarterback, man, that's what had to be. He played in 2 games last year, but not only that, when you break down quarterbacking in championship teams, the teams that usually win a championship have quarterbacks that are mobile. I know a lot of people don't look at Stetson Bennett as a mobile QB, but when the play broke down, he was really good at actually finding the space and just finding a hole in the defense and getting down as quick as he could. Now, I think Jalen Milroe is going to go out and play a spectacular game against Middle Tennessee. So what do you do then? Do you play the other guys if Jalen Milroe goes out, let's just say, 7 carries, 150 yards, and then he's out there just dropping dimes out there? Because that's definitely potential for what he can do Saturday. Because I really, 6'4", 230 pounds, I can really see that guy going out and shining. But I wanted to know, do you think the quarterback competition gets crazier next year whenever Julian Saban comes on? I watched that kid play the other night, and he was balling.
Dude, the dude is, I mean, he's we're on the line with Juwan calling in from Arkansas. I appreciate you calling in, man. Yeah, so exactly. And it's funny, like Jalen Milroe keeps getting bigger every single week. Right now, we're like, he's 6'4", 230. I think like his official size. So I saw him at SoCal Cantina not too long ago. It's a place, if you're coming into Tuscaloosa, go check them out. They got some good Mexican food. But the best Mexican restaurant in Tuscaloosa, hands down, is Antojitos. The owners are from Mexico City, and the food is fantastic. Tell him I sent you there. Dude is, I mean, he's 6'2", he's 235 pounds legitimately. And you're right. Like if he just completely balls out, you take him out and you get him some good reps, he's ready for week 2 against Texas. I can only imagine Texas preparing for Milroe and kind of what they're going to be watching on Saturday. Next year, regarding the quarterback competition, that's going to be fun because you're right. Dude, Julian Saban, like if he slowed down, someone posted on Twitter like a slow down clip of some of his footwork where he's making like 5 guys miss. He looks like a ninja back there, right? And he has that escapability that I think Bryce Young has. Really good touch on the football. He was the Elite 11 MVP. Then you have Dylan Lonergan. Everybody excited about him. If Ty Simpson has a strong year here, he clearly stays. Buckner could come back. So yeah, we're going to be doing this next year as well. Anything else while you're on? Juwan, you guys up in Arkansas, man. Go ahead.
In your opinion, who transfers? Because it's highly unlikely everybody stays. I think Ty Simpson's going to leave. Me personally.
Yeah, I mean,
I say this because Ty Simpson, he comes from like a smaller classification in Tennessee. Some of these guys are coming from like where they're playing is really top-notch football, like high-level football where you're playing against 4 and 5 stars every single week. I just watched Julian Saban play against it's either Modern Day or De La Salle or one of those teams. And you can go look and see how many 4 and 5 stars he just went against. And he was out there cooking those guys. So, in your opinion, who do you think would transfer?
I mean, if Ty Simpson isn't the guy this year, then I think it's clearly him. But who's to say that it's not him? I mean, I'm still high on Ty Simpson. I think Coach Saban has literally, clearly he's kept kind of the cards close to his chest this fall camp, but I think he's going to give all these guys an opportunity to go out and win this job. I mean, Ty Simpson clearly can be the quarterback here. Tyler Buckner, was the quarterback in a bowl game. He played in some big level games at Notre Dame. So, but if I had to choose, if Simpson doesn't win, then it's clearly Simpson. Lonergan's going to come back and fight for that spot. Julian Saban's coming in. I mean, so yeah, I mean, if Simpson doesn't win, then he's definitely out. But those are hypotheticals, and I guess we'll just have to see. If when he gets his opportunities, but Simpson can play and Simpson can lead this team 100%. Anything else, Juwan?
All right, thanks, Kyle.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Enjoy your college football weekend, man. All right, we got a 478 and an 864 and one call-in line open. So keep hitting that call-in line. I appreciate you guys coming in and joining me this afternoon. Call-in line is 205-850-1994. Sound off in the comment box. Hit the thumbs up. Like, subscribe. My name is Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. This is what I do for a living. And I appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity to provide you Alabama Crimson Tide football coverage. It's a real big honor. I live in Tuscaloosa, and I definitely, I'm going to the game tomorrow. I'll probably be there probably like 2 or something like that because I got to park. I want to scope out kind of the tailgate scene and kind of just take in the vibe. So I'll be bringing you guys coverage. And then following the game, you got the post-game show with Coach Sean and Coach Smook and Coach Jarek. And then once those guys have taken you home for an hour or something like that, I'll drive in and, once I get back to my studio, I will take your guys' calls on the post-game show. So, and then Sunday, can you imagine Sunday? You know what we're going to be talking about. We're going right into Texas. All right, so we go back to the phone lines, 478. We start right now. Hey, thanks for calling. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with and where you calling in from?
Hey, my name is Philip, calling from Macon, Georgia.
Philip from Georgia. I appreciate you calling in from behind enemy lines, man. What's on your mind today?
Hey, now listen, I'm a Bama fan through and through, man. I just wanted to say I'm not concerned about Jalen being named quarterback. I actually feel fairly confident because I was talking to one of my friends the other day, and I told him, I said, when you really look at it, Bama has not won with a quote unquote elite college level quarterback to start a championship game and actually win it. If you look at, you look at Jalen Hurts, he took Bama to the national championship 2 years in a row. He didn't seal the deal. He didn't finish the job, but luckily we had Tua come in, right? And then you look at Mac Jones. You wouldn't consider him an elite level talent in college. You know, obviously he played really good that year, but his overall career, you wouldn't necessarily look at him as elite. And then you have somebody elite like Tua and somebody like Bryce Young come in. They go to the national championship game and they lose. But if you look at the quarterbacks that were able to win championships under Saban, they were guys that were just able to go in there, do their job, and get the win. And I think that's what Jalen's going to be able to do for the team this year.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point, and I appreciate you calling in, and also thank you for the super chat, professional certified hater. He says, I think our success will come down from the talent we have in the trenches. Haven't had this sort of talent on the O-line, D-line in years. Old Bama vibes. Love it. I'll get to you in just a second. Back on with Philip calling in from Macon, Georgia. Yeah, Philip, look, sometimes, these teams that are able to make a great run, it stems from defense, but it also stems from, a variety of players, not just the quarterback position, and what this team can do collectively and develop that high level of play. And the one kind of word that Saban has emphasized this entire fall camp is consistency. And I think if this team can continue to show that consistency and get better and better, because let's face it, and I had that video go out the other day, Dear Alabama. That's what a lot of people think about Alabama this year. They don't think of Alabama as kind of that old 2015, 2016, like they're just going to run right through you. People are engaged to tomorrow's game on the SEC network to just see this Alabama team. Honestly, like the ratings are going to be higher against Middle Tennessee State than they would be a couple years ago, because people are like, is this Alabama team really taking a step back? And it's more than the quarterback.
Exactly. And our offensive line has been doing a lot of talking, too, so about how physical they want to play. So, they're going to be looking at that. Then they're going to want to see what the defense is looking like, because we should have a pretty good secondary, because we got a lot of older guys coming back, and then you got Caleb Downs back there. So there's a lot to look forward to on Saturday. So people are going to be nitpicking. So I agree. I think the ratings are going to be pretty high compared to what we would normally get to start the season off.
And you're right. Like, look, this call-in shows about Jalen Milroe. Everything is kind of around the quarterback play, but just as the professional certified hater inside the comment box, he talks about the O-line specifically. I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen all the social media posts within the last 24 hours about Alabama's size on the offensive line. The offensive line, I haven't really been that excited about Alabama's offensive line over the last couple of years. Kind of same thing with the wide receivers. But this year, I'm certainly excited about it. And you got the two tackles, Caden Proctor, certainly a monster on the left tackle. And right tackle, you got J.C. Latham, who looks monstrous now at 360 pounds. Tyler Booker, I think, is an all-SEC, if not first-team All-American. You got Seth McLaughlin at center position, kind of has like a little bit of Landon Dickerson vibes. And then you got either T.J. Ferg or you got Darian Dalcourt, at that guard spot. So I like the offensive line, monsters, and they're going to provide plenty of protection for these quarterbacks. But most importantly, they should be able to open up some holes for any of those running backs that you want to go with on Saturday or on week 2 on Saturday against Texas. What else you got, Philip?
No, I just wanted, since you mentioned the offensive line, I just want to say, you go back and look at the video from the SEC championship when Self went in there against Jordan Davis. He cooked him. And everybody was talking about how great Jordan Davis was as a defensive tackle coming out of Georgia. But Self went out there and balled out. So I think, he got a lot of that Landon Dickerson in him. He got some dog in him. So I'm just excited about Saturday. I think Jalen Milroe is going to light it up. I think he has at least 75 rushing yards and 200 passing yards.
Philip, let me ask you, man, what's the water cooler talk in Georgia? Is this because I said on that Dear Alabama that because the reason I got those vibes is because when I was out in SEC Media Day, Kirby Smart, Lane Kiffin, how he's always talking about Alabama and he's just like everything's about Bama. Kirby Smart was a complete opposite. He was like, I don't even remember being there. It was so long ago. We're different. There's different teams, different DNA makeup. While kind of Georgia really copies almost every single thing that Alabama does. Now, even their offense, right, has morphed into the present day of college football. That's why they're rolling, and that's why they're balling out of control. Is now they're slinging it around the field, and they're not just one dimensional. But do you feel like, do you get that sense in Georgia, kind of that elitist mentality that they feel that they're now above everyone else in the college football world?
Yeah, I got a couple of friends that like to talk a lot of junk. They're very confident, and then just being in the state of Georgia with the Braves winning the World Series, so now it's just like there's a level of euphoria going around Georgia, and I think and I told them, I was like, hey, listen, y'all better enjoy it while you can, because it's not guaranteed. They don't understand how special the team is right now, what they've been able to do, but I'm trying to let them know, like, you can't count out Nick Saban. You know what I'm saying? Like, he enjoys the grind more than anything else. Yeah. You know what I mean? So this is only just adding fuel to the fire for him. So I think this is going to be a season that he's going to be very motivated. But, yeah, the Georgia fans around here, they getting a little bit too big for their britches because they got the back-to-back.
Yep. Well, I mean, just like Coach Saban said, if you want to be the beast, you got to do what the beast do. Adam in with the super chat. Exactly. I appreciate the 10 spot. Anything else, Philip, while you're on the line, man?
No, thank you for taking my call, man. I appreciate it.
All right, man. Stay safe. Enjoy your college football Saturday. We go back to the phone lines in just a second at 864 inside the comment box. Adam West with the 10 spot. Really appreciate you. Let me get back to professional certified hater real quick. He hit us with the 5 spot. I think our success will come from the talent we have in the trenches. Haven't had this sort of talent on the O-line and D-line in years. Look, I think the defensive line probably has to prove that. Clearly everybody does because we haven't played a game yet, but we're excited about Tim Keenan, Jaheim Otis, and Justin Abogbe coming back. But the offensive line, as I was just talking about with Philip, I mean, these guys are big. They're nasty. Eric Wolford has really built up a great wall of Alabama, and I'm really excited for it. And I think that could be a pivotal component to not only Alabama's passing game, but how about to their rushing attack, right? I mean, all those running backs running behind those big guards outside from those tackles. I mean, there's a lot to be excited about, but specifically with the tight ends too. I mean, Coach Saban talked about Amari Niblack, and he talked about Danny Lewis. And Danny Lewis most recently asked if he was a Y, basically slid down tight end with hand down in the dirt, or if he can be split out. And I think he's kind of one and the same, whereas Amari Niblack, he can be a Y, but you get him to the outside, and Alabama had an open practice. And Amari Niblack can be like a / wide receiver / tight end. I've been high on him for a long time, and hopefully he can have a big showing early on in the season. I think Alabama needs a tight end to step up. Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys joining me. We'll go to the phone lines. We got an 846, and the call line is open too if you want to jump in. 205-850-1994. Friday, September 1st, just one day away from Alabama's game against Middle Tennessee. 864, let's get it. I appreciate you calling in. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
This is Brent from South Carolina.
Brent from South Carolina, you're on, man. What's on your mind, buddy? Take it away.
Roll Tide, I was just wanting to ask you a question about, do you think Saban's going to be the master magician that he is and not show our full potential on the field with Middle Tennessee?
Yeah. Well, Brent, I appreciate you calling in from the great state of South Carolina. And how about this? I mean, a couple days ago, I talked about keys to the game. And what if Alabama in this particular game goes out behind that gigantic offensive line and they just run the football for 350 yards collectively, and they don't really show much with any sort of quarterback play at all? And can you imagine what that would do to Texas for that week 2 matchup? Because keep Texas guessing. Right, come out and maybe sprinkle in the quarterbacks in different sets, but don't show too much and just kind of run your way through Middle Tennessee going into that game. The downside of that is that you don't have any type of continuity with your quarterbacks and wide receivers, and then testing that out in week 2 could be a challenge. But I think Alabama could certainly just run right through Middle Tennessee, have Jace rack up 100, have Roydell do his thing, and the young freshman and Jam Miller, also shine. But look, Coach Saban has a plan. There was an article recently by AL.com that talked about the fact that Coach Saban has smiled more times this fall camp than any other fall camp. And that's got to be a good thing, right? Like, coach knows, coach is enjoying coaching up this team. Like, remember when he said, keep kicking their ass? Like, he loves this.
Yeah.
Because since I've been covering the team, I moved here.
It's almost like he knows something that we all don't know.
Yeah, and he does. And look, he likes a challenge. Coach is still so competitive. 100%. So having this opportunity, having the reverse rat poison, having people feel that they can play at this level at Alabama, I think he's welcoming it. And I mean, look, even Rick Stockstill, who's a very tenured coach from Middle Tennessee, look, you got to have coach talk, but he wasn't, he was like, they have good players. We have good players too. There's not like that sense of overall.
And I feel like they're sleeping on his arm too. I feel like they're just sleeping on Jalen's arm too.
Might be. I mean, there's been a couple times where we were critical of him kind of throwing, but I mean, there's other times where I've seen him. I mean, he can put the zip on the ball. So maybe Jalen is just kind of waiting, and so is Alabama, and we're going to be like, he told you so. But I also think that, we're in a good position with the quarterback battle, and I think it's, bolstered that quarterback room to where we have some real competition, and there's nothing wrong with having a really good backup quarterback. There's nothing good wrong with having a good backup running back. Like, the season is a grind. You're one play away from being the guy. So, it's as we've seen in the past, you got to be buttoned up at every single position. Anything else, Brent, while we got you on the line?
No, sir. That wraps it up, brother.
All right. Appreciate you, man. Enjoy your college football weekend. Brent calling in from South Carolina. We got 470 in the call queue. Call line is open. We got a couple lines open, 205-850-1994. Want to get your take on Alabama versus Middle Tennessee, or if you want to call in and sound off on Jalen Milroe kind of officially getting the nod against Alabama. Appreciate you guys being here with me on this beautiful Friday, September 1st. Weather is really good today here in Tuscaloosa. These last 2 weeks have been miserable in terms of heat. Like, the temperature has been, I don't know, like the feels like has been like 120 or whatever. And Alabama has worked outside during those times. Coach Saban as well. And, there's been a lot of talk about the hydration with the team. And there was plenty of articles written about that. And rightfully so. You got to stay hydrated in this type of heat. 470, you're up next. Let's get it going. Hey, you're on the line with Kyle Henderson.
Yeah.
Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Carrollton, Georgia.
Okay, and what was your name?
Brock Marable.
All right, Brock, you're online. Go ahead, man. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I just want to say, do you think Coach did a good thing by not letting you know who the quarterback is so that he can put in some schemes so they don't know who to, get prepared for, because they really don't know who's going to be the quarterback? You don't think that's a good thing?
Yeah, I love it. Another caller from Georgia. I appreciate you guys' support. Thanks, Adam, for the 20-spot super chat. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I love it. I think Coach Saban has done a masterful job keeping everybody off base in terms of, who's going to be the quarterback, making it tough on not only Middle Tennessee, but probably Texas and South Florida in terms of who is going to be this quarterback to lead this team. And then with that as well, he's also done a good job in terms of building that competition and saying, look, you have to work for the starting spot every single week. And Coach Saban, I was talking about this recently with my dad. Coach Saban is always ahead of the trends. And so how he's combating the transfer portal is saying, look, you can be a starter any weekend here, but you have to prove it. You have to show that consistency to be a starter. Like, the starter isn't etched in stone, which is amazing, because I think a lot of players might see the depth chart and they're like, oh, that's it. But every week there's a rotating depth chart that creates competition. You have to continue to have consistency to be able to get on the field here at Alabama. What else you got, man?
Yeah, I think the portal really going to mess up a lot of good players because they thinking they can go somewhere else and get a chance to play. They don't necessarily mean they're going to get to play when they get in the portal. And that's like a waste of time leaving one place going somewhere else and being still in the same boat.
100%.
I
Yeah.
think some of them just, a lot of them, I think they should just wait and just build themselves up and stay in one position. And that way, you got better odds of starting than where you at instead of taking a chance going somewhere, have to start all over. That's a big if. And I don't think that's good for the players.
Yeah, I mean, like whatever, and I think it's like part of like the fabric of, you know, like the working environment is you don't go in as, you know, a top level guy. You have to go in so many times as like the entry level and then work your way up and then work your way up. Like that is how the world usually works. And there's nothing wrong with working your time. And when there's an opportunity and when you have worked and you have shown consistency, you get elevated. Whether that's on the football field or whether that's in the job atmosphere, whatever job you have, that's how it works. So, you know, this like bouncing from school to school, looking for the perfect spot. Look, the grass isn't always greener. Sometimes it does work out, but more times than not, when you keep jumping around, you're just chasing rainbows. I'm going to jump to my next caller, man, but I appreciate you calling in.
Yeah, roll tide.
Roll tide to you, man. All right. I appreciate all the fans calling in from Georgia. We got a 256, back-to-back 256 is calling in. Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate the 20 spot, Adam up top, man. And then Adam East throwing the 10 spot. So we got Adam and Adam chipping in for $30. Mike Lee with the 99-cent dunk, and then professional certified hitter with the 5 spot. Appreciate you guys. Kyle Henderson and Bama Football on YouTube, coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Jalen Milroe gets the start against Middle Tennessee. Really excited for him to go and showcase his abilities. This has been a great story to track all fall camp. Coach Saban has been bobbing and weaving the quarterback questions, and tomorrow we get it going from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Alabama versus Middle Tennessee. Saturday, September 2nd, 6:30 TV is SEC Network. Alabama favored by 40 points. We go back to the call queue, and it's a 256, and we start right now. All right, thanks for calling in. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Hi, Kyle. It's Adam from Talladega.
Adam East. Yeah, I appreciate you, Adam East, and thank you very much for the super chat as well, man. Take it away. It's your show.
Yeah, you know, I've heard everybody calling and talking about how they're comparing the defense to the 15 and the 16 models, but I don't think they're going back far enough. I don't know if everyone remembers, but in 92 and 93, we had Copeland, Curry, and Rogers. And all you had to do was count to 2, and the quarterback was on the ground. I believe it's going to be that way this year. And we've got so many people stepping up on the defense. I'm predicting a record year this year. Now, what Georgia had was magical, okay? But it's over, all right? It's done. What they had on defense was magical. Those guys are gone. And what they had on offense was magical. Stetson was the man, okay? But he's gone. That type of chemistry doesn't come along every so often. And to think that this guy can step in and just take over the way Stetson did, you know, he had his confidence up. You know, I don't see it. But anyway, our defense this year is, we got the dudes. We've already been over this. It's going to be a record year. And starting today, I'm hyped up. I'm all the way. I'm turned wide open. It's like I tried to fight it off, but you know, I've been like the boxer walking around in the back there before you come out. But now I feel like they just rung the bell and I'm ready to swing.
Yeah.
You know, I can't hold it back anymore. We're going to kill everybody. They know it. They're scared. Everybody knows they're scared. That everybody knows that they're scared. But Texas, you know, the roster, just think about this. The top 3 recruiting classes ever assembled on paper, ever, are on campus together right now at the campus of Alabama.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a scary
We're definitely going to kick a lot of booty this year.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. Yeah, these are some highly touted individuals that are hungry. I think that's a good combination.
I'm glad to hear you talk about Jihad Campbell. I haven't been keeping up with and think about this. No one ever has had the conads out there to say, hey, I'm not telling you who the starting lineup's going to be. Number 1s and number 2s. There ain't no rotation. We're all number 1s. Who's ever said that? We've got the dudes, man. Mm-hmm. They're all number 1s. Think about the mindset of a guy who's so close, and then he gets told he's number 2. Mm-hmm. You know, that destroys confidence. Mm-hmm. And besides, what difference does it make? You're going to run out there 3-4 plays, and then you're going to come out, and somebody else is going to take your place. You know, you started, yeah, but we have a thing called co-starters.
Yeah,
I haven't heard that word in a long time.
I was talking about that recently.
We've got a lot of co-starters.
Yeah, because Alabama can go so deep. And think about this. So let's say that you're listed, like the depth chart comes out. It would make sense if the depth chart came out within different formations, right? It would be like 10 pages long, and those would be your starters, right? There would be like the dime package. There would be like goal line situations on offense. There would be the spread set. You would have so many different starters per package. And it's not like that. So I don't think people understand.
And not that many variations of the starters. I mean, you'd see number twos that people you thought was number twos.
Yes.
They're starters in different packages.
100%.
So
yes.
Everybody, we don't have those. We don't have a bunch of number threes that we can call. Mm-hmm. The number threes are the number twos this year because we got the dudes, man.
Yes.
We talked about how do you operate 5 quarterbacks because you got 15 number one receivers. They can all have 3 number one guys.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kyle.
No, and I think you're right. Just to build on that, like the threes are really the twos, right? Because the twos and the ones, like they rotate to stay fresh and to stay up at that level. For example, like Jahad Campbell and Trezman Marshall, I think those are co-starters next to Deontay Lawson. So what are you going to say, like Jahad Campbell, like he isn't a starter? Well, I also wanted to make another point on Jahad Campbell. So Coach Saban last night said that he had his knee scoped. That Jahad Campbell had his knee scoped a couple days ago, and he is doubtful for the game on Saturday. He's not technically out. I think he could probably play, but I think he's most likely doubtful. So that's kind of the update on Jahad Campbell, but he said he will be available or expects him to be available for week 2. So that I think that's interesting. And it also provides an opportunity for some of these 2s and the 3s to step up at the inside linebacker position after Deontay Lawson and Georgia transfer Trezman Marshall. What else you got, Adam?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to about wrap it up. But when I'm looking at the linebacker cores, you know, the inside and outside, I just don't see many number 2s, man. You know, I mean, I'm just Jahad Campbell, however you want to say it. You know, I don't see how we're going to keep this guy off the field along with Dallas Turner. And, you know, man, it's going to be awesome. I can't hold it back anymore. I'm turned wide open.
Yeah, no,
it's going to be like this for the next couple months, man.
I know.
Once I see the score tomorrow, it's just going to be, I'm going to be in everybody's face, man. You know, I didn't want to be like this, but they've been talking that crap for so long. You just wait till we destroy Texas. Georgia's days are over. We're coming for them. It's going to be so bad. It's going to be so bad. Just remember this, Kyle. I'm going to give you a line from Judas Priest. There's many who've tried to prove that they're faster, but they didn't last and they died as they tried. Think about that when you think about Nick Saban.
Oh, man, I love it, Adam. Good stuff, man. Good call. Appreciate it, man. Thanks again for the super chat.
All right.
We'll talk to you. All right. That was Adam calling in from Talladega. All right, we got a 256 and, a couple of call-in lines that are open. So if you want to call in and talk about Jalen Milroe being the starter at Alabama, or you want to talk about Alabama versus Middle Tennessee, or you want to talk about college football in general, hit me up. 205-850-1994. Had some college football last night. Nebraska went on to be Nebraska last night, giving up a late field goal to Minnesota. And Florida, I guess, what's going on out there? Did you guys expect Florida and Utah to go that way? I knew going out to Utah was going to be a tall task, but Utah from the get-go, got on top of Florida and never turned back. So the Utes, they always come with it on the defensive side. They've always had a really salty defense and able to beat Billy Napier, another disciple of Coach Saban. We go back to the lines, and 256-734-337. You guys are all lined up, but we start for the 256, and we start right now. Hey, thanks for being patient. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
This is John from Muscle Shoals.
John calling in from Muscle Shoals, man. I appreciate it, man. I was just up there for my first time. Played at, a couple golf courses. Such a beautiful area. Visited there this summer, man. But tomorrow we got college football in terms of in Tuscaloosa. What's on your mind?
All right, so we've heard a bunch of takes on what Nick Saban done with the quarterbacks. I just want to get your opinion on this. I feel like, okay, we have 5 scholarship quarterbacks. Of course, what he's doing is, making competition between those guys. But what do you think? I think he's playing it two ways. He's doing that, and he's also talking to Julian saying, hey, yes, we have 5 scholarship quarterbacks, but if you come in here, if you show out, if you do your thing, you have just as much chance to start as anybody else, because I know him being a 5-star plus, everybody's still flirting with him, trying to get him, pull him away from Bama. So I think Nick Saban's like, hey, if you come in here and do your thing, you have just as much chance to keep him, locked in with Bama.
Man,
so I'm gonna hang up and listen to what you got to say about it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for the call from Muscle Shoals. That's really good. I like kind of that take, like almost speaking to your next quarterback too. That could very well be the case, because you don't necessarily want to, like in this, like Coach Saban is, God, he's so genius in terms of how he's always sending these messages out, not only to the media, to his team, but to also the recruits who are committed that are not yet signed. Because people are starting to get excited about Dylan Lonergan. So maybe like Coach Saban's whole thing is like, playing the best right now, but also making sure that you have the best coming in and saying, look, when you get here, you have to work to be a starter. There's not going to just be a designated starter from the get-go. I love that approach. I think it was even Mike Gundy I was listening to from Oklahoma State kind of had a similar philosophy in terms of what he was going to do. And so that's what I was saying earlier about Coach Saban always being ahead of the trends in terms of how to manage roster management. Think about it. Coach Saban, now that you have the transfer portal and NIL and managing your roster, he calls it his organization. They have a whole think tank, and this is probably one of the think tanks. Like, you don't want to scare off your 2s and 3s, and those guys are going to play, but you have to be more strategic in how you word the depth chart and how these players work to get playing time. It's a good philosophy. It's a good strategy from Coach Saban. I'm curious to see the quarterback position, because you do have 5 quarterbacks and the number 1 rated guy coming in. It's going to be delicate, but has Saban ever steered you wrong with the football team, specifically at quarterback? And when Coach Saban had to make a judgment call in a pivotal game, which was a national championship, what did he do? He didn't ride out Jalen just because of pride. No, he put in the freshman Tua Tagovailoa and ended up winning a national title. All right, we go back to the phone lines from Muscle Shoals. We go to a 337. We start right now. Hey, what's going on? You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
This is David from Louisiana over here with them little Tigers or whatever, talking their smack, getting ready for their butt whooping this weekend against Florida State.
What do you think about that game on Sunday? What's the line on that? That's a game Sunday night, Florida State, LSU. Is LSU favored by 2 points?
That's what I've been hearing, like 2 points. But I honestly believe that Florida State is going to beat them. From what I've been hearing, because I live here in Louisiana, and, you see all the stuff, and then I watch these YouTube channels, not just from, LSU or anything, but just different Kirk Herbstreit and all these different ones talking about how LSU secondary's weak. They don't have a secondary returning, really. They're young secondary, and they believe that Florida State is going to just throw the bombs all over them this weekend. But enough about this sorry team over here in Louisiana. Let's get into the one that matters the most. My biggest thing, and I'm pretty sure everybody else agrees with me, is we have to control the penalties.
Yes.
We were ranked 125th, and what is it, 135 or 136 teams?
Yeah.
We had 103 penalties last year for 893 yards.
Yeah.
That's like Bryce Young playing 2 games back-to-back and throwing for 400 yards a pop or more. That's ridiculous. There is no sense in being ranked 125th in the country with the talent that we have. I understand things happen, but the offside penalties, the false start penalties, that can make or break. That's just like that game last night with them poor little Gators over there from Florida. I can't believe they allowed Utah. I don't even know what a Ute is. But anyways, the penalties hurt Florida last night in a lot of ways. You know, they were in the red zone, and then, you know, false starts. And I understand it's the first game of the year and you're trying to get your butterflies out, but you should have your butterflies gone by in the first quarter. That's just the way I look at it. You know, no matter if it's the first game or the last game of the year. Now, as far as Jalen Milroe goes, he's got a strong arm. He's probably got one of the strongest arms in all of college football right now. The dude can rocket a ball. My main thing is will he stay consistent, not throw a lot of interceptions? We don't have a lot of turnovers, because you know that when we get into teams like Texas, Auburn, LSU, whoever else, those are going to make or break a game and the season. So as long as Milroe is consistent with the ball and don't have a lot of turnovers, I know there's going to be an interception or two throughout the year, but you know, just be accurate. Use your eyes. Look downfield. Don't be like some of these other dual threat quarterbacks that are going to run, and then throw. I want someone who's going to stay in the pocket as long as they can and look downfield and see what they have wide open before they just take off running. You know, that's the only thing that hurt us last year with dual threat quarterbacks like that quarterback from LSU over here, that Daniels boy. He's a run first, then throw later quarterback. I mean, he ran over us with his feet last year. Defense got to step up, put a lot of pressure on the offensive line, you know, get to the quarterback, start rattling the quarterback, get him off his game. But I believe we're going to be fine this tomorrow night. We'll walk through this game. I'm just ready to see what happens next weekend against Texas. And if we can dominate Texas, then it's going to open the eyes to the rest of the country, and they're going to say, well, they're back, and we better step up if we're going to beat Alabama.
Yep.
So with that being said, brother, you know how I end this show every time. God bless everyone. God bless the United States of America. Y'all be safe, and we'll see you tomorrow night after the game.
All right. Roll Tide to you, David. Calling in from behind enemy lines is David calling in from Louisiana. I think he brings up a really good point. I was inside the call queue, I got an 864 and a 678. Hang tight. I'll be right with you. Brings up an interesting point, because when I was talking Alabama versus Texas a couple nights ago, a caller did call in talking about Alabama versus Texas last season. And that game was just so penalty plagued. So that's another thing that we have to watch is, you know, the drops and the penalties. This team has to be able to play at a high level in difficult games and maintain that consistency and performance before like the pre-snap. Because if the penalties continue to plague this team, you look at the last couple games, and Coach Saban brought this up during fall camp. He said that in the two longest games that they played last year were against LSU and against Tennessee. Those games were nearly 4 hours. And what did those two games have in common? They had a lot of penalties in those games that they lost. So, I think penalties is something that clearly Alabama is going to work on, does work on. And we'll take our next call right now with the 864. Hey, what's going on? You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Yes, sir. This is Dustin. I'm in Greenville, South Carolina.
All right, our third call from South Carolina. I love it. Dustin, what's on your mind, man? Take it away.
Yes, sir. I would just like to say I love your show. I listen to it every day. I can't. I work night shift, so I usually listen to the replays or whatever you have. Like I said, I've been an Alabama fan for 15 years. I think this team this year is going to be better than last year, even though we had Bryce Young.
Mm-hmm.
As long as they can cut them penalties out, the D line show up, I think Jalen Milroe will be all right. I think that's our best chance is starting Jalen Milroe.
What do you
like
want?
You said, he won 2 games last year for.
What do you want to see from Jalen Milroe? Like what would be like a good stat line, or what are some things you want to see from Jalen Milroe when he takes the field?
I just want to see him throw the ball better. Mm-hmm. That's all. I just want to see if he can pass. I heard some of the high school coaches talked about him, said he was good. I mean, he can throw. I'm not doubting the man. Mm-hmm. You know, if you doubt him, you're not an Alabama fan.
Mm-hmm.
you can't doubt the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Nick Saban's been doing this a long time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think I'm not going. You know, my wife said the same thing. You know, she don't doubt Nick Saban.
Yeah.
Because it's like everybody saying Georgia took over. Georgia ain't took over nothing yet.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
you know, Georgia just got beat a few years ago by South Carolina. Got upset by them.
Yep. And they almost lost last
You know,
year too.
I mean,
though.
I'm not
Ohio
saying they're
State
gonna do
had
it
them on
this
the
year,
ropes. Yeah.
but I mean, you know, but anything can happen. And there's another thing. I don't know if whoever's listening, Spectrum Charter cut out all our ESPN channels.
Yep.
So now I have to go buy Hulu to watch all the games.
You can't do.
They can't come to a deal.
You can't do YouTube TV.
But I already got Hulu with the bundle. So if I do the live TV,
Mm-hmm.
I just go ahead and pay an extra $50. I'm gonna have to pay $50. I don't care. I pay $100 to watch my game tomorrow night. So
yeah.
But yeah, Charter and Disney can't come to an agreement. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one. I mean, Spectrum's all over the United States now.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course. Yep.
And yeah, they done cut all the ESPN, SEC network channels out until they come to agreement. It's crazy, man.
You know what? This same thing happened. I think it was last year or the year before with YouTube TV and ESPN. And I was freaking out too because I have YouTube TV. And what happened is they ended up fixing this like the day of. So kind of rest up because people will stand up. People start canceling and they'll start to see numbers drop. So, you know, I get you though. You pay for whatever because you need to watch the games. I mean, it's like that's what we do. You know, that's how we work. And we want to relax by cheering for our teams, by watching the games. Hopefully they fix it, man. But glad you got options. Dustin, South Carolina, I appreciate you calling in, man. Anything else while I have you on the line?
I think, you know, Middle Tennessee is just it's just a little warm-up game for us. We're going to really see what Jalen Milroe can do week 2 against Texas. I don't think Texas is going to beat us. I think, like I heard a couple people say, I think we're gonna beat Texas at least by 10 because they already talking about they don't know if Quinn Ewers is gonna be the quarterback the rest of the year. They saying Arch Manning might take over. I mean, they got questions too. So
yeah,
you know, I think we're gonna be fine this year. I don't think LSU or Tennessee ain't gonna beat us at home. You know, so. I'm gonna rest my case with that. I'm gonna let you go. I know you got other callers.
Yep.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide to you, man.
And Roll Tide.
All right, Roll Tide.
I love your show. Thank you.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. I like 205. Hang tight. I'll be right with you. The times that I went to South Carolina, I've enjoyed it. I went to Hilton Head, played golf up there. I went to Charleston. Charleston was one of the most beautiful cities I've ever been to. But one of the places that I heard was really amazing was Greenville. I'd never been to Greenville yet. And I heard that Greenville is just a really beautiful city. So I really like to check it out. Amazing how many Alabama fans in South Carolina and in Georgia, right? All over. Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. Call line is open 205-850-1994. Coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama. September 1st, one day away from Alabama taking on Middle Tennessee and kind of getting your take on this upcoming matchup. And we go right back to the phones with 205. And we start right now. Hey, thanks for calling in. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from?
Hey, my name's Tyler, and I'm from Alabama, but I live in Savannah, Georgia right now. So, can you hear me?
Yeah, man. Go ahead, man. You're on the show. I appreciate you calling in. Savannah is absolutely beautiful.
Oh, yeah. I'm at work right now. Y'all have no idea what it's like to deal with all these Georgia fans. Like I'm wearing Alabama stuff right now, and it's every single day. You know, it's like they got pity. Like they got pity for you being an Alabama fan now. Like they've done something. But no, the biggest thing is I hope it goes back. Like the last 2 years, I know Bryce was amazing, but I felt like they put way too much on his shoulders. It was like, here's the ball, go out there and figure it out. You call the plays, you do this and that. Like I feel like when it gets back to more, you know, coaches calling the plays, it's going to be a lot better outcome.
I think when you look at kind of the offensive system under Tommy Rees, I think we're going to see a much more unique and balanced approach with the offense, because in a much more creative way. Because when watching Bill O'Brien, I didn't think he did a great job really highlighting Bryce, and it seemed kind of vanilla most of the time. Whereas with Tommy Rees, when you look at his offense, he was able to utilize those tight ends, and I keep on saying those tight ends because they were so productive at Notre Dame, and then also some of these wide receivers, Malik Benson, and then also getting the running backs involved as well. Tommy Rees, he's young. He's exciting. It is Alabama's offense, but he's bringing a couple different wrinkles from his different packages. So yeah, I'm when I look at this game tomorrow, and I asked Dustin from South Carolina, like, what are you looking for from Jalen Milroe? For me, I want to see just playmaking ability. Look, just go out and just be you. Like, you don't have to fit into any box. You are like, play your game. And if you can play your game and be consistent at playing your game, then this team is going to win as many games possible because he's capable to lead this team. So he doesn't need to fit into he doesn't need to be Jalen Hurts. He doesn't need to be Tua. He doesn't need to be Bryce. He needs to be Jalen Milroe and just be able to go out and do his thing, use his size, his ability. Those guys, they all had different intangibles. Jalen Milroe, he has the arm. He's a dual threat. He's one of the fastest guys, if not the fastest guy on the team. Go out and just play your game. Don't be somebody else. Just be you. What else you got, Tyler?
Oh, that's it. I was just listening to your show here at work and wanted to call in and say roll tide.
Hey, take it easy, man. I appreciate it, man. It sounds like work is we got I love it. All the workers, everyone's busy, man. It's Friday. We're about to hit the time card to get to College Football Saturday. 361, you're in the call queue, and then of course call line is open. Call line is 205 850-1994. I'll put it up on the screen in just a second. Vincent, great show. Would love to see you do a sit down with Jay Coker. That'd be awesome. Yeah. As the show continues to grow, maybe I can get more, high level guests on. But of course, like, the thing I like about this particular show that we do right here on Bama Football is there's so many different minds in terms of the Alabama fans. And we go all over the country and get to make new friends, get to hear different perspectives. And the Alabama brand is so huge. I mean, you heard Coach Saban talking about when he was in Italy, like all the Roll Tides. I mean, I've had people call in from New Zealand, from Japan. When Tua was running things over here, like people from Hawaii. I mean, when you have it made with people from Hawaii, got it made in the shade. Those are some good times. And so I like rapping with you guys, plain and simple. 361-256-256, you guys in the call queue. We start with the 361 and we start right now. Hey, you're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
It's John. I'm from Corpus Christi, Texas.
John, calling in from Texas, man. I appreciate you calling in from Corpus Christi, man. Take it away. What's on your mind?
Talking about the offense, last year our biggest thing was the penalties. And when watching it, you could tell like a lot of the linemen weren't sticking with their blocks. Big guys, and they wouldn't stay with their blocks and running all over the quarterback. And you saw that, I don't know if you watched it last night towards the end with Florida, they picked up Damian George. And he had a couple of penalties where he was holding. And that's where some of those penalties came from him on him last year. And if there are guys, the way they've been talking, they're going to, make the other team pay, make them beg to, get the game over. As long as they stay with their blocks, I think it'll take some of that pressure off the quarterback on wanting to run and be able to hit their targets, And Milroe, he's got the arm, he's got the talent. I think the overall, whoever has the touch on the ball, whether it's deep, quick outs, I think that's going to be the determining factor who wins it over. Because, he can throw the ball. He throws it with a laser, and it's hard. And you're flying down the sideline. You throw a laser, you can't get underneath the ball quick enough. So I think at the end, who has the touch and who has the composure to stay in that pocket and get that ball out there, I think that's the one who's going to win it all.
Let me ask you something. You're in Corpus Christi, not quite, Texas Longhorn country, but I mean, the Texas brand is also very large, just like Alabama's, right? It expands everywhere. What's kind of the water cooler talk down in Corpus Christi or around that area about Texas coming into Alabama? I mean, do the fans, we talked about it yesterday, but are you kind of hearing the same sense that Texas feels that they have a really good shot to come in here based on their weaponry to beat Alabama under Steve Sarkisian, Quinn Ewers, with all the offensive firepower that they have? What are you hearing on your end?
They just always talk trash. They always assume that they're always back, like they always say.
Yeah.
But in the end, they get the door shut back in their face because they know they can talk it, but they can't walk it. And a lot of times it's just like I go, listen, if you want to bet on the game, we'll bet on the game. But I mean, and when it comes down to it, they don't want to bet on the game because in the end, they know they can't compete. Mm-hmm. They just want to talk it up and act like they do, but they know that Bama has the power and the mentality, and they've been there. Texas, they talked it up. It's like the Cowboys talk them up, and every year they're Super Bowl, and they can't even get past the first round. So Texas is no different, and it's we won so many times that. And, they got Steve Sarkisian, which is, to me, he's a really good offensive coordinator. Yeah. He had our defense on the rope because of the way he had them running the routes, the tempo that he put on it, which I think, and then the time of the day, it was a big factor on everything. So they just assume that, Texas is going to win, but they have no they're not true to it. They just want to talk it up. It's just all trash. They can't ever back it up.
On with John calling in from Corpus Christi, Texas. We appreciate you calling in. Everyone inside the comment box, take a pause and hit the thumbs up on this video. I appreciate you guys. John, I got a question for you. Realistic stat line that you'd like to see from Jalen Milroe on Saturday. What does that look like?
As far as how long he's going to play, or
just like stats, you think he's going to throw for 150, run for 100? I mean, what would be like a good stat line for Milroe?
Good stat line. I think he'll keep at the most. He's going to run at the most 100 yards if he stays in for the whole game. I think he knows that if he's going to win, he's got to stay in that pocket and get that ball out quick. Mm-hmm. So I think if he does that. He stays under 100 yards in rushing, he's gonna he'll put up a good 300 yards in passing because he's got the playmakers. I mean, his confidence has got to be there. That give him the ball, and just like the past, Waddle, Smitty, all of them, give them the ball. They're gonna take care of it for you. And if our receivers go back to old school and block downfield like they did in the past, these guys are gonna take it to the house every time.
Yeah, cool, John.
So easily he'll have 300 yards.
John, I'm going to move to my next caller, man, but I appreciate you calling in from Corpus Christi, man.
Anytime. Thank you. Roll Tide.
Yeah, roll Tide to you. John calling in from Corpus Christi. We got an 804 and a 786. What would be a good stat line? John is saying if he stayed in the game, he'd, go for over 300 yards. I think that would clearly be the case. I think, I can see Jalen Milroe playing, maybe 2 quarters total, something like that, maybe 3. And I'm going to say 175 yards passing with 65 yards rushing and 3 total touchdowns. Does that seem right? If you guys heard it, someone type that out, put it in so we could timestamp that. Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube, coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Tomorrow you got Alabama taking on Middle Tennessee, Saturday, September 2nd, 6:30, TV, SEC Network. We'll have post-game right here on Bama Football on YouTube immediately following the game with Coach Smook and Coach Sean. We go back to the phone lines, 804. We start right now. Hey, you're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from?
This is Larry from Richmond, Virginia.
Larry from Richmond, Virginia. I used to live up in Alexandria. Loved my time up there. It was I would take the blue or yellow line into DC because I worked in DC on 2 different occasions. But we're talking football. So what you got, Larry, man? I appreciate you calling in.
Yeah, absolutely. Just real quick, I just want to see the secondary, see how those young guys get out there and start to play, the different packages, because so many DBs can play multiple spots. So I want to watch for that and see which receiver pops this year. Hopefully it's multiple, but see what receiver pops this year.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely curious about that too, because we've all been kind of hyper focused on the wide receiver play as well. And this year, like the standard is, you have to go up. The last couple of years, we've been trending so high and then kind of took a slight downfall in terms of the overall production, in my opinion. So this year, we need to get back up. Secondary looks great, but, all eyes will be on that secondary because Middle Tennessee is going to throw it all over the place, or at least try to. So what does that look like in man coverage situations when you have Trey Amos of the transfer, Jalen Key, who's just been brought here as a transfer, Kool-Aid, JaQuincy McKinstry, the freshman Caleb Downs? Those guys are going to get plenty of reps on Saturday. And I think that's great because Texas is also going to throw the football. So kind of a warm up for that secondary. And then also with that pass rush. We were talking about it earlier in the show. Dallas Turner, Chris Broswell, like those guys have to get to the quarterback. A high level of production has to be coming from Dallas Turner. He's in for, he has a big year. I mean, he's top 5, top 10 pick, absolutely not far behind William Anderson. So that pass rush definitely has to come with it.
I agree 100%.
What else you got, Larry?
Well, I just want to see the incoming freshmen also and some of those transfer players.
Yeah.
Let those young guys get in there and get some work and see what we got.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, the two transfers, that should certainly see the field. You got Jalen Key at the safety spot. You got Trey Amos at the corner spot. So those guys should be doing their thing. Incoming transfers, Malik Benson should be a guy that we're watching. Tresman Marshall, transfer from Georgia. Looks like he's going to be starting as well. So you have, 3 guys that came in from that transfer portal being starters. And then, Tyler Buckner clearly going to get some opportunities, or we would at least think he does against Middle Tennessee. So people are going, imagine if Tyler Buckner comes in and he has a small sample size, but he tears it up. Like the quarterback talk on, you think it's been hot today? Just wait till Sunday. Just wait till Sunday. Like that, it's going to be an explosion of quarterback debate going into Texas. We haven't even reached the threshold of quarterback talk. I want to see those the transfers. And then in terms of the true freshmen, you have Caleb Downs, Caden Proctor. Those guys are your starters going into this game. And then who's going to be behind them? Maybe a Keon Keeley? Yeah. 6'5", 242 pounds. Yanzi Pierre, maybe.
Pierre, yeah.
I mean, those guys, yeah. I think those guys could play sooner than later. Those two outside edge rushers.
Yep.
We haven't talked about Yanzi, and maybe that's by design, right? Like sometimes they just kind of keep those guys on the low. But freshman play, we've seen that before. Anything else, Larry?
That's all I have for you.
All right, appreciate you, man. Roll Tide to you.
Roll Tide.
All right, we got a 786 we're going to go to next, and then 251. Kyle Henderson, Bamo Football on YouTube. Take a pause. Hit the thumbs up on this video. I appreciate you guys. Coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama. It's been today I have been, every day, like if you know me outside of this, I am hyper focused. I am like a super A-type. So I wake up 4:40 in the morning. I have a men's workout group that I work out with here in Tuscaloosa. It's called F3. We work out. It's push-ups, sit-ups, sprints, air squats, and then you have kind of like a time of like meditation and prayer. It's amazing. And then that gives me so much energy throughout the day. Today, I clean the entire house. Nobody will out-mop me. Honestly, that's like my secret low-key skill. You're not going to out-mop me. And I'm so excited. I have so much energy going in this next game. And I'm just like so pumped up. 786, let's get it going. Hey, you're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who are on the line with and where are you calling in from?
My name is Ladivs. I'm straight out of Miami, Florida, but I was born and raised in T-Town, Alabama.
I appreciate it. Roll Tide to you. I missed your first name. What was it?
Ladarius.
All right.
Ladaruis.
I got you. All right. You calling out of Miami from T-Town. What's up, man? Go ahead. Take it away, Ladarius.
I gotta tell you, I can't wait for the game against Middle Tennessee. All I can say is Bama going to win it. But the main type of challenge that we have is Texas. We got to wash up from that. And on top of that, can't wait to see them go against LSU. Last year we were this close to be LSU, but they beat us by 2 points. But you know what? Alabama got a good tendency to play. And also, I watched the game against Georgia National Championship, and, I seen how they once beat Alabama, but, at the end of the day, Georgia's a good team, but I would love to see Georgia Alabama go against each other once again, And I watch your show a lot, Cal, and you know what? You're a good man. And it's straight out of point of views, all I can say is Bama gonna roll. And you know what? I just can't wait for them all. But my main game I like is Alabama go against Auburn. Let the game begin tomorrow. This is college football time.
That's right. Yep. Well, Ladarius, I appreciate you calling in from Miami. Thanks for the words on the show. Yeah, absolutely, man. Love what I do, and I enjoy talking to everybody from across the country. You're right. I mean, you have teams that are kind of on the hit list, right? LSU, Tennessee, of course, man. Georgia, because and Texas A&M still, that Texas A&M still living off that high when they beat Alabama a couple years ago, and Alabama going back to College Station this year, right? Jimbo Fisher, his former assistant to beat Coach head to head, and Georgia. Look, it's kind of like if you guys are all familiar with Rocky, right? The Great Series. It's like another rematch. You got Apollo and you got Rocky. Like those rematches are made. Like these two teams are on a collision course. I promise you, they're going to run into each other again. And this next time that they meet, because now Georgia has the title belt. Coach Saban said this summer that somebody has taken that from Alabama, right? Like Georgia's on the top of the mountain right now.
You know what? Yeah, and you know what, man? I got high praise for Nick Saban.
Mm-hmm.
He's the reason why we won championships right after Paul Bell Bryant legacy was in the basket. Even though he passed away a long time ago, but you had Gene Stallings' legacy, you had Paul Bryant legacy. Mm-hmm. Now you got Nick Saban legacy. Mm-hmm. I'm proud of Saban at the end of the day. And he raised these players to become great players, and look what happened. I mean, first round draft pick, Bryce Young, man, come on, man.
Yep.
I mean, this is what Nick Saban do every day.
He's living for it. Yeah, I think this is going to be a fantastic season for Coach. Hey, Ladarius, I'm gonna get to my next caller, man, but I appreciate you. I love going down to Miami. And sometimes if I go to Miami,
I appreciate you, Cal, man.
I appreciate
and like
you, man.
I said, let's watch the game tomorrow. Okay,
let's do it, man. All right, see you, Ladarius. All right, Ladarius calling in from Miami. 251, you're up next. When I like to go to Miami, you can find me at Little Havana eating a Cubano. I went down there. I've been down to Miami a couple times because when Alabama plays, they play in the Hard Rock, which is kind of far out. One of the times I stayed in Boca Raton and went to this amazing Greek restaurant, but I cruised on into Little Havana. The nightlife in Miami was mind blowing. You guys know that. But Little Havana with the Cubanos, money. All right, we go to our next caller at 251. We start right now. By the way, calling line is open 205-850-1994. Hey, you're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from?
This is Kendall from Mobile, Alabama.
Kendall, I appreciate you calling in, man. Take it away.
So, I'm curious to see how much Milroe's improvement on his turnovers has been. Because tomorrow, I believe we will figure out. Because people don't realize this. Middle Tennessee State has had 80 turnovers the past 3 years, and last year they had 20 interceptions. So we'll see what he's improved. I believe he's had drastic improvement. So. I'm curious, what's your thoughts on that, Kyle?
Yeah, no. Can you imagine if Milroe throws an interception tomorrow? People going to freak out, right? They'll be like, that's it. Take him out. Never again. This could be out there. But any of the quarterbacks, people are going, like I'm telling you, like everyone is so hyper-focused on all these stats. Coach Saban said he doesn't care about stats. Clearly, he cares about turnovers. What's up, Coach Smook? I see you inside the comment box. Appreciate you being here. He's got the post-game show after. this is a new season, Kendall. We know that. Last year doesn't dictate this year. This is a clean slate for everybody. We have a fresh piece of notebook paper, and you can write your story in it. And this is going to be his story. This is going to be a chance for Ty Simpson and Tyler Buckner to also see, get on the field and try to write their story as well. But we start with Jalen Milroe, rightfully so. He is the guy that has earned that spot. Otherwise, Coach Saban wouldn't be putting him, under center to start against Middle Tennessee. But yeah, I mean, if he turns over the football, people are going to freak out. I think those were some high level games that he played in. Another thing for Milroe that we probably need to see is if he does get into the red zone, like his ability to slide. Remember that time he got hit? Didn't his helmet fly off? Or he dove or something, and he did like a helicopter. So I get it. He can probably bulldoze over anybody at that speed, but learning to slide and to save your body is also something that I think is going to be critical for him, that he needs to improve. I'm sure they worked on that as well. What else, Kendall, that do you want to see from not only Milroe, but for the team in week 1?
From what I've heard, I'm hoping the team, focused and all that, and the way Nick Saban talked about him on Hey Coach, he said they're made out of the right stuff, but it seems like he's trying to give them the underdog mentality, because he said they're made of the right stuff. He said, But do we have the talent? He said he don't know. Of course he knows. We've had, 3 of the top 5 recruit classes of all time on this roster alone. That's crazy.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, I get it. Like the talent is there. It's time to let these guys to showcase this team, to showcase this new Alabama team. I love that they're laying in the weeds. I wish they weren't ranked 3rd in the coaches poll, because the coaches still know that Alabama's going to be there. Clearly the line, like Vegas still knows Alabama's going to be there. But the rest of the world, they think that this team is beatable. They think that this team is vulnerable. It's not the case. This team has an opportunity to go prove it. So we start tomorrow. What else, Kendall, while I got you on the line?
Last time we started number 3, do you remember the year?
I don't. What is it?
2020.
Oh, perfect. Undefeated. Yeah.
Everybody went that year. It was all Clemson talk. I believe Georgia and Ohio State, everybody put Alabama on the back burner, similar to this offseason, and we've seen what happened.
Man, that 2020 team was, they were so loaded. I miss Najee. That's one player I miss. I miss him and Devontae Smith. Those guys were just. Yeah, he was different, and then plus he was such a great interview too. He could catch the ball, man. Najee was unbelievable. Remember that play? I always remember one of my favorite plays that Najee made was that play against South Carolina when they were in Columbia and they did that kind of rollout play, and Najee catches it, stiff armed that dude, and then jumped over that other guy, and then went in the end zone. Remember that? That was one of the best plays I've ever seen in college football. That was unbelievable.
Yeah. And that team was crazy talented.
They were, it was insane. Anything else? Anything else, Kendall? What got you?
Another thing, real quick. I want to know your thoughts on this. This is the last point I want to get at. So, night games, playing on the road in the night game. Would you say that's the hardest game to win?
I don't know. I mean, probably so. I mean, games you go to LSU. I've been to LSU now twice. That place is crazy. 100%. It's not hype. It's crazy. The tailgate goes, and Alabama has an amazing tailgate. In fact, I'll show you guys some tomorrow. But that LSU tailgate is legit. That stadium is very loud. Night games over there are, challenging. That's why it's amazing so many times Alabama went over there and blanks them. It's going to Tennessee, in a night game. That's a tough environment. But the Rocky Top song is so annoying because they play that Rocky Top song again and again and again. That might be the worst thing about that stadium. But yeah, night games are challenging, 100%.
Yeah. I'm making an assumption about this. I'm pretty sure the team that's playing at home in the night game got an advantage from the kickoff, because what makes you think about this, the past few losses that Alabama's had in the past few years, not, the past 2 in a row or nothing like that, had been on the road like to Texas A&M at night, we had no business losing that game. We have a very talented roster. We almost won the national title, and we lost to a quarterback who's at some D2 college now.
Yeah. No, that's playing at College Station. That's tough at night for sure, 100%. Kendall, I got to get to my next caller, man, but I appreciate you calling in, bro.
Okay, thank you. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide to you, man. All right, Kendall calling in. We got a 256 and an 804 inside the call queue. There was a comment I wanted to highlight up here because it couldn't be further from the truth. Or it is the truth. Like, you can tell Kyle loves traveling, having experience, and can appreciate the culture of different places. 100%. This is probably the thing I like most, honestly, in life is traveling and getting to meet people from all over. I lived in LA. I lived in Pella, Iowa. I'm from Santa Fe, New Mexico, lived in Alexandria. I lived in DC. And now I live in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. The thing about it is I've come to know a ton of people in different walks of life. And I like rapping with people, but I will like different cultures and stuff. It's on me, man. Like traveling, probably the most important thing to me after college football for sure. Okay, so we go back to the phone lines and at 256, we start right now. Yeah, I appreciate you calling in. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from?
Kyle, what's up with you, man? This is Jay from Florence.
Yeah, I appreciate you, Jay. I appreciate you calling in, man. We made it to game week, man. So what's on your mind?
I feel like this is the most important season of Nick Saban so far. Hello?
Jay, you're kind of cutting out, man, but I'm going to give you a shot. Go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead.
I feel like this is the most important season of Nick Saban's tenure. College football about to change as a whole after this year. All kinds of conference realignments and all of that. We don't want to end what's on the freaking. My fault, y'all. It's a plane going above me.
Jay, I'm returning to the call queue. Just hang on tight, man. All right, we'll try to come back to Jay. All right, so we got Coach Smoot calling in from VA. Jay from Florence, hang tight. We'll see if we can get a little clearer connection for you. You could just call back. Coach Smoot, you up? Let's do it. Coach, you on the mic, man? Take it away,
bro.
What's up, man? It's
what's going on, bro? How you doing, man? How you doing, man? You look like you amped up over there, man. You better calm down a little bit, man. You got to play some of that for tomorrow, brother. What's going on,
dude? Man, I'm loving it, man. I feel what's crazy is the amount of energy I have. Like I'm happy. Right. I'm happy to be here. I have a lot of gratitude to be, talking to all my fans. Like and it's college football time, man. It's a good time, but. Someone said this is the best. Jay said it right here. Boy, it's like Christmas Eve. It is. Like this is our Christmas Eve. Like we made it.
As Bama fans, for people who grew up in Alabama who kind of had to be forced into picking a pro team, this is Christmas for us because we don't have a pro team in Alabama. For anything I like watching the Birmingham Biscuits as much as I love the Braves. So.
So what you think, Coach?
Yeah, man,
so I mean, we knew that Jalen was going to be the starter, but I mean, now, I guess, has a little bit more, gravity or whatever because Chris Lowe is connected and rightfully so. He's earned that title and good for him, but we knew it was going to be him. So what are we looking for on Saturday?
Like I said, man, and I know you watched the little premiere. I believe it's going to be that type of day for Jalen Milroe, starting off early, knocking that rust off. But I think he's going to be efficient, man. And just to be the keeping this in an unbiased point of view, regardless of my personal feelings, I think Jalen Milroe is going to have great success this year. I think he's going to surprise and shock. My hopes is that he surprises and shocks the nation and be able to show that he's able to get the ball downfield. He may not be a pocket passer, but he can stay in the pocket and pass and be efficient at doing that. So, there's a difference, You can still be a scrambling quarterback, but you have to have the ability to stay in the pocket and pass. And I think he's going to display that. He's working with a staff that has all the tools. Y'all guys got to remember, we got Ken Wisenhunt on the staff right now, as an analyst. And you're trying to tell me that he's not in the film room working with all that. Jalen Milroe's not in the film room working with all of that experience and, knowledge, trying to better himself. I think that's why the quarterback competition is getting, went as far as it did, because all those guys were putting in the necessary work and steadily improving. And I think it's a good thing that Milroe starts out. We already see that the team is behind him. We see that he was putting in the extra work, doing the things off field to show that he's ready to be a leader. The word being echoed around the locker room and in the interviews on campus is he's being a lot more vocal this year, being that he's not the guy. Bryce was the guy, so he kind of took the back seat and just learned and continued to learn from Bryce. But now that he's at that point where he can be, the leader, I think this is a big year for Milroe, and he's gonna take advantage of it. I think he's gonna take advantage of it. But if he doesn't, guys, I'm telling you, Ty Simpson, if he's the guy that gets in, and I believe he's number 2 behind Milroe, Ty Simpson gets in early against Middle Tennessee State, and I'm talking about like if Milroe somehow goes out and doesn't produce any type of production over 3 drives, I'll give him 4 drives. 4 drives, the first drive don't count. Whether you score or not, the first drive don't count. That's just to get your feet back wet, get that smell in, get the right air in your nostrils, get the right, take a hit maybe 1 or 2 times on that first drive, throw the ball, see how it's feeling, see how you guys feeling on the field. Like that's what you do on the first drive, or the first drive of the season. But if he's doing that, fourth, if he done missed 2 or 3 passes, whether we're winning or not, if he's missing reads, if he's underthrowing guys, if he's taking off too soon, leaving the pocket too soon, causing himself to be in, bad situations, even if he's making plays off of that, I think we get to see Ty Simpson early in the second quarter. And if Ty Simpson gets out there, he's not doing anything to lose the job. And that'll create more conversation for the quarterback battle going into week 2. Because then if you throw Ty Simpson early against Middle Tennessee State, that means Tyler Buckner is going to be given, some type of increase in reps in practice, if not in the game, if he doesn't get in the second half. So this is a good situation for us, keep us on our toes as fans, and always something to look for, as analysts and people that, speak on things of Alabama football in the media. And, man, I'm just excited. I'm really more excited about the defensive side, seeing what we do on the defensive side more than I am. I knew Milroe was going to be the quarterback. It only made sense for Milroe to trot out as a starter, even if he doesn't start the whole season. It only made sense to allow him the opportunity to lose the job. He earned the job last year when he stood in and covered down from Bryce against A&M and went into A&M and we won that game. Or they came into our house and we won that game. So I think it's a big thing for us, and I think Milroe's gonna shine. He's gonna surprise some people, Kyle.
Hey, Coach, hang on in the call queue. I'm going to go back to Jay from Florence, and I'll bring you right back on. Hang tight.
Okay, bro.
All right, we got Coach Smook in the call queue, and we're going to bring back on Jay from Florence. 608, hang tight. Hey, Jay, you there?
Kyle, man, what?
Man, Jay, you know what, man? The call, man, is just like the connection sucks. So call in again another time. I tried to get you on, man, but just the call wasn't there, man. So sometimes, it's just, it works out like that. No disrespect though, Jay, because I know you had a good point. What he was saying was that he feels that this is Coach Saban's, one of the biggest years for Coach Saban to coach this football team. Lying in the weeds, people think he's lost his fastball. Jay always has some good points, man. So, hey, Jay, we'll try to get you back another point. Coach Smook, I'm going to get to you. Hang tight in the call queue. I'm going to bring on my 608, and we'll start right now. Hey, you on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
From Toma, Wisconsin. It's good to be with you again.
Yeah, this is Tom, right? You cut out twice on the stop, but I think it's Tom from Wisconsin, man. Take it away. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, I'm just interested in the detail of what's going to be like tomorrow. Are these guys going to be up for it? You know what I mean? The flow of the game. I'm looking forward to the attitude of the players. how are they going to take this game, this first game? They going to take it seriously, or are they going to try to look ahead and say, you know, we got Texas next week, we can't really, you know what I mean? I want these guys to be amped up tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, I live in Wisconsin, and the Green Bay Packers is like Christmas to us. You know, when the season starts, it's like, you know, that's what we got. But I'm just being honest. I'm a Bama fan too, obviously. But the Packers is our crown jewel of our state, and I love them. I'm an owner of the team. So I mean, I'm just looking for. I'm just interested. Like I said, I'm interested in how are they going to react tomorrow.
Tom,
first and foremost, how are they going to come out of the gates? You know, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Tom, you know what, man? I first of all, thank you very much for the call from Wisconsin. I think you bring up a good point. What is this team's mentality going to be? I think this team comes out ferocious. I think they come out lasered in on Middle Tennessee. I think they come out, you know, with kind of that Dear Alabama on their mind, being like, they're pissed off. And I think that's the mentality, and I think we see that early from this team. I think we see some big hits. I think we see some high-level play from the get-go. I do get, you know, your sense of urgency and being, you know, you love the Green Bay Packers. I went up to that area, and I almost went to St. Norbert. You know where that's at?
Yeah, I do. I know where it's at.
Yeah, I was went to school up in Wisconsin. I went up there, but it was just way too cold for me. I was just like, I saw a game up there. I was thinking about going to St. Norbert, and I was like, no, I can't go out here. But you know, I went by, you know, Lambeau and had a good time out there. But I was like, nah, it's not for me. Hey, Tom, what else do you want to see? You know, maybe from you know, the defensive side of the ball when you're looking at week one, or you know, kind of early signs for what you kind of have your microscope on tomorrow.
On that point, on the defensive side, because I played defense in high school. On the defensive side, I want to look at the corners.
Yeah,
the corners and safeties. Can they cover? Can they not get beat off the back end? You know, is there going to be help for them? Are they going to not? You know, do what they've done in the past, you know, pass interference calls where it costs them, you know, say they were on a third and 10 or third and manageable for who they're playing tomorrow. But what happens if they get a pass interference call and it's the stupidest thing where you know the play is way done?
Yeah.
I'm looking for that. I want to see what these guys can do because there's fresh faces. We got some guys that are coming back. I would say we got Kool-Aid back there. And some of those other guys, but that's my focus right now is that side of the ball, the corners and the safeties.
Yeah, and Coach Saban,
I'm sure all four guys are just going to be pissed off.
And to build on top of that, Coach Saban said that anytime you face this air raid, you're going to be put in man situations, right? So one of the things that I said to counter that was that you have to play aggressive in the secondary. So like, look, if you're getting beat or whatever, like pull the guy's jersey down and like take the pass interference. Do not get beat over the top. And you have to play super aggressive, win those one-on-one matchups, whatever you have to do, play nasty. When you're a corner and you're in man coverage, you have to be an alpha 1,000,000%. So yeah, I'm kind of having my pulse on that as well. Anything else, Tom? I'll have you on the phone line.
I'm just looking forward to seeing a game that's, you know, competitive for us. I'm looking forward to seeing how Jalen Milroe takes the reins of this.
Yeah.
You know, gets us going and get everybody fired up and say, hey, this guy can lead us all the way back to where we want to be, and that's beating Georgia. That is the bottom line. We got to get to Georgia.
Yep.
We got to beat these guys. I'm getting sick of hearing this shit about Georgia this and Georgia that. But let's take one game at a time because otherwise life is too short. Got to move forward, and you know, I just want to see the whole team effort this week tomorrow. Like I said, coming out ferocious, mad, upset. You know, we don't have a Tucker in our back. We're good.
Yeah, love it.
You know, we're good.
Yep.
You know, we can say, hey, no pressure on us, man. We're just going to come out there and kick the living shit out of everybody we play because it's payback tour. I truly believe it's the revenge tour. I really, truly believe that. I really do.
Yeah.
I really do.
Either being hunted or you go out there and hunt. I love it. Yeah. And if you want to be the beast, like Coach Saban said, you got to do what the beasts do. Hey, Tom, I appreciate the call from up top in Wisconsin, man. You enjoyed these last couple days of warm weather, I would assume, before ice is over.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Roll Tide.
See you, man. Roll Tide to you. Tom coming up from Wisconsin. We go right back and we bring on Coach Smook in 706. Hang tight. Hey, Coach, when we look to, kind of the keys of the game, things that you want to see. We're on with Coach Smoot calling up from VA. What do you kind of have your microscope on when you're looking at this week 1 matchup against Middle? I know everybody's kind of just, the line set at 40, but when we're looking at Alabama specifically, what's on your mind, Coach Smoot?
Appreciate you again for having me on again, Kyle. But to answer your question, the last caller, what was his name? Tom?
Yeah, Tom from Wisconsin. Yep.
I'm coinciding right with what he said. Right there, shoring up the middle of our defense, shoring up the small mistakes, shoring up the small things that Alabama was known to just do, on schedule and just routinely doing the regular things all the time and doing the big things when big things are needed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember it was a time where Alabama didn't have to do much on defense. They just were always in position to do their job. And when they were in position, like when the plays came their way, that's what they did. They made plays. And that's what made us hard. So when people when guys stop having to think so much and they could fly around, they get a concept and they could fly around and play football, you get better results, especially on the defensive side. Everybody who knows football knows that defense is the reactive side of football. Anytime a defense can start dictating how offense plays, that team is usually the winning team. Mm-hmm. I don't know how many times you've been in a game where you saw where Georgia, because Florida, like last year, Florida couldn't get any protection for any quarterback that lined up, Richardson or Jones. They couldn't get any protection for either one of them. And it didn't matter what they did as far as scheming, run, they couldn't do anything. And once the defense was able to line up in their base nickel and send 5-man pressures and still cover downfield, that game was over with. First quarter, they established that. And so and the reason that we were able to do that because they don't have soft, pressure or soft penetration up the middle. Their defensive tackles and ends are really like pressing the gap while maintaining containment. They run the same gap containment scheme we run up front. And I think this year we're going to see a lot of more of those first and second level stunts too, where the linebackers are being implemented, aggressively closer to the line as far as doing your stunt blitz with 4-man pressures. Because last year was so many basic Mike linebacker, shooting the A gap, shooting the weak side A gap. I mean, it was so predictable. And I think we get back to allowing these guys to be aggressive as far as getting the push up front. You got 4 guys across the front. They're all 6'4" or taller. I think Justin Boydby has like a 6'6" or 6'8" reach or something like that. And then you got a big guy, Jaheim Otis. You got guys that are big with length. So allow them guys to press those gaps, contain gaps, but still press those gaps and let the linebackers, come clean up. That's the staple I think Kevin still wants to implement. And I think that's what we're going to see tomorrow.
Interesting to track the inside linebacker play. We're on with Coach Smoot calling up for VA. We'll get to our 706 inside the call queue in just a second. Trezin Marshall, the transfer from Georgia, expected to start next to Deontay Lawson. Coach Saban has a lot of positive praise about each of those guys. Said that Trezin's made some good progression this fall, and said that Deontay Lawson is now the signal caller, of course, replacing Henry Tota, and then Jalen Moody at the inside linebacker spot. So Alabama has 2 new inside linebacker spots or inside linebacker players, and then behind them Jahad Campbell looks like he is probably questionable or doubtful for tomorrow, had his knee scoped, but should be good for week 2 against Texas. And then maybe that'll provide some other opportunities for some inside linebackers, a Kendrick Blackshire or maybe a Justice Jefferson or something like that to kind of get in the rotation, because Bama fans have been wanting to see Blackshire get on the field since he got here to Alabama, and kind of just seen like small sample sizes, but kind of next man up mentality. Coach Smoot, as I get to you to make your final point on this game, do you think that there's any sort of way that Coach Saban, keeps it somewhat vanilla with the quarterbacks and goes ground heavy, and with Texas looming, you don't want to show what you have? I mean, coach is always playing chess. Would it be surprising if maybe you have 2 running backs hit the century mark on Saturday?
I mean, I I don't see them being vanilla because I still think you have to go and establish some type of identity.
Yeah.
I don't think you go out there and just run the ball 50 times this game.
Yeah.
I think you try as much as possible to stick to. Shout out Sean in the chat. What's up, Sean, my bro? Shout out, bro. Roll Tide, man. But I think you try to stay as close as possible as the identity you want to be able to establish. So we're talking maybe like a 65-35 run pass ratio type game tomorrow, meaning you want to give Milroe at least 15 to 20 attempts, 20 passing attempts where he's, having to make reads, but you really want to lean on that running back room and you want to lean on that offensive line to establish that to start the season. So offensively, I do see that not necessarily vanilla, but still a semi-aggressive style of play call, giving us different formations, getting guys used to, going on and off the field, getting them in situations where, 2 minute, if we got to make a substitution after it's first down with the new clock rule, getting guys adjusted to that. Using all these different situations and capitalizing on them, you can't just be vanilla and do that. So you're going to have to call some type of play call, have some type of game plan. And I think we're going to push the score up to about 40, 48 before we, actually slow down. So.
Hey, Coach Smook, well, I appreciate it, man. Rest the vocal cords, man, because you got the post-game show with Coach Sean, man. So you guys bring it. That'll be following the game. You got Coach Smook, you got Coach Sean, you got Coach Jarek. They'll be leading the post-game show immediately following the game. The video is already scheduled, so you guys go hit the notification, that bell. So as soon as the game ends, you think Bama football on YouTube, go post-game show, and then I'll be batting on the back end, taking your calls after I take care of Coach Saban at Bryant-Denny Stadium, and then I head back to my studio. So, Coach Smook, rest up. You got a big game tomorrow, man. You're playing too. You and Coach Sean. You up in a couple hours right here on Bama football.
Man, let me tell you, bro. I'm so excited. Like, I know y'all saw the edit. I know you saw the edit, bro. That game, playing that yesterday, and having to not stick to the script, but try to make it realistic. Man, it felt like. I wish I could have seen my shirt, man. I had to go and, clean up afterwards. Like, I was, amped up because even though it's Middle Tennessee State, it felt like football, man. And y'all just don't know. For y'all that live close enough to go to these games, y'all better go, man.
Yeah,
I'm hearing tickets is dirt cheap.
Yeah.
Y'all better go,
there's
man.
Tickets
Y'all
all
better
over.
enjoy it. Because if I was there, I would be there.
Sure. Yep. All right, Coach Smook, man. I'll catch up with you, man, via text. I'll hit you up.
All right, brother. Take care, man.
Right, man.
Roll Tide, everybody.
Roll Tide to you, man. All right, 7:06. You're up next. Hang tight for just 1 second. Kyle Anderson and Bama football on YouTube, coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Alabama versus Middle Tennessee. Game will be on Saturday, September 2nd. 6:30 TV is SEC Network. Alabama favored by 40 points. Jalen Milroe will get the start against Middle Tennessee. Want to get your take inside the comment box. We go to our next caller. That'll be at 7:06, and we start right now. Hey, thank you very much for being patient. I appreciate you waiting. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, or where are you calling in from?
Hey, Kyle. Hey, this is Smitty from Pensacola, man. How you doing?
I appreciate it. What was your first name? I missed it. My bad.
Smitty.
All right, Smitty from Pensacola. Take it away, man.
Hey, man, first of all, man, let me just give Coach Smook a big shout-out, man. It's tough to follow that guy. He's very knowledgeable about the game of football, but especially about Alabama football. Love to hear him on the show. Secondly, the timing of your show was impeccable, bro. I had just gotten off work, and I was trying to figure. But I had some stuff on my mind about Alabama football, and I saw you pop up on the YouTube feed, and I was like, "Yo, this is just perfect timing, man." But I got a couple things on my mind, bro, and that I wanted to share with you. So first of all, when we first hired Kevin Steele, I was kind of scratching my head a little bit because, I don't know if a lot of people realize this, but Kevin Steele, he never won a title with Alabama. And honestly, I don't think he's ever won a title at all. But then just hearing all the current chatter about, what we're going to do this season, I feel like, maybe he was the best person for the job because he's never won at Alabama. For some odd reason, he always left right before we won the title. And no one has ever mentioned that. And, just after doing a little research, I realized that. I was like, you know what, man, I'm happy Kevin Steele is here because maybe he's going to go extra hard this season and send these guys, on the battlefield to do some damage, man. And I'm just super excited now, bro. Super excited.
Yeah, I love the fact that Kevin Still, I like that addition. I've been a big fan of the hire, since it was announced, and I didn't realize that he hadn't won a national title, with Alabama. So thanks for bringing me, that info. I'm sure people already know that, but there's a lot of stats that we just might not know. That is interesting, and I think him kind of coming back, maybe that's like a full circle. Like that is something that he wants to accomplish clearly, and I like the no nonsense approach from his demeanor. He's that old school mentality, like he's got that presence about him, and I think that the players have responded well to it, from what I understand. And people have a microscope as well on the defense. People were not happy with Pete Golding as the Alabama defensive coordinator for several years. It wasn't one of these things that wasn't like one particular year. And you look at the games, Alabama gave up so many points. I'd never seen that before, right? Like maybe once in a while because the game has changed in the sense, but there was a lot of games where Alabama just allowed too many points on the defensive side of the ball. So having Kevin Still come in, I'm really excited about that as well, and kind of that no-nonsense approach. And he has a lot of guys to work with. That secondary has some vets. Malachi Moore, Kool-Aid, Deontay Lawson will get his shot. Dallas Turner's a top 5, top 10 pick. Up front, Jaheim Otis and Tim Keenan and Justin Ebogbe. So there's a lot of pieces on that defense. So, thanks for bringing up the defense, because sometimes we get hyper-focused on the offensive side of the ball. But, yeah, we're looking at, Kevin Still and kind of that defensive philosophy going into the season. What else you got, Smitty?
So one last thing, Calvin. I'll hang up and let you take care of this. But so I'm more excited about our defensive end play this season, especially with Dallas Turner and I forget the guy on the other. Chris
Broswell.
I'm so excited. Yes, thank you. So excited about those guys, man, just to see what they do since Will Anderson departed. And who are you most excited about? And I'll hang up now.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks, Smitty, for calling in, man. I think look, Dallas Turner, we're hyping him up, and rightfully so. I mean, the way that he's looked in fall camp has been phenomenal. So I want to see him get to the quarterback. A lot of people want to see him getting more heat on the quarterback this coming year. He can't just have an average year. He's not an average player. He's probably one of the best players in all of college football. So I'm super excited to see him. I'm super excited to see Terran Arnold at the corner position. I want to see how much he has improved, specifically in those man situations. We all know about Kool-Aid. And then this is a big year for Malachi Moore as well. Malachi Moore, he's stuck with it. He could have bounced out to several different programs. And you see what Brian Branch is doing in the NFL. He waited his opportunity. He's here. He's one of the veterans. He can play safety. He can play star. Also curious to see how Jalen Key fits into this defense as a transfer. Coach Saban has been really excited about the UAB product now here at Alabama, and of course, Caleb Downs. So there's so many storylines. If you look, you start digging to the defensive side. Offense, we've talked about the quarterback enough, and the running back position as well. Jace, Roydell, Jam Miller. Give him the football, right? I know we're so excited about Justice Haynes, and rightfully so, but we cannot forget about Jam Miller. That huge offensive line, that's probably one of the things I'm most excited about. And the improved play of the wide receiver spot. So, look, I appreciate you guys joining me today. Hit thumbs up. Like, subscribe. I'll be back tomorrow. It's game day right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys' support. More than you know, college football is here. Let's get it. Hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe, and I'll catch you next video right here on Bama Football on YouTube.